2. Hello and welcome to another episode of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Filippo Formica, joined by our forecaster, Caitlyn Bell. And Caitlyn, it's a big weekend here at Penn State with the annual spring game. Are we expecting any rain in the forecast?
Yeah, Filippo, so we had a good start to the week. However, once we move into the weekend, we actually might start to see some rain.
Looking forward to hearing more about the timing of that rain in Caitlyn's forecast. But first, here is Nature in the News.
If you're one of the 50 million Americans who experience seasonal allergies, you may notice your symptoms starting to bloom just like these April flowers. When you encounter a substance you're allergic to, your immune system releases chemicals that cause the symptoms such as runny nose, itchy eyes, and sneezing. So what can you do to reduce exposure to allergy triggers? Well, you can use allergy medication, close windows and use air conditioning, or for more severe cases, certain skin tests can help guide you towards remedies. Making sure your immune system is in tip-top shape is not an easy task, but eating food rich in vitamin C can help improve digestion and make you feel full longer, in turn preparing you for allergy seasons. With a few simple steps and healthy habits, you can stay one step ahead of allergy season and breathe a little easier all spring long.
Spring is in full swing across the Northeast, with warmer temperatures taking hold and trees bursting back to life. But along with that seasonal renewal comes an increased risk for wildfires. One such fire, the Jones Road wildfire, erupted Tuesday in southern New Jersey, quickly burning through more than 12,000 acres in less than a day. The rapid spread of the fire is tied to persistent dry conditions. The area has been experiencing a level 2 drought classified as severe for over 13 weeks, leaving vegetation dry and highly flammable. While spring often symbolizes growth and renewal, it could also bring volatile fire conditions when long-term dryness lingers. It's a powerful reminder that wildfire season isn't just a Western issue. It could spark close to home, and it could happen fast.
Just like the seasons change on land, we may forget about what happens to the ocean at the same time. When birds are migrating and flowers bloom on land, different types of changes are occurring in the ocean. Snow and ice begin to melt and cause rivers to surge, carrying nutrients into coastal ocean waters. The ocean then becomes fertile with phytoplankton, as well as migration of sea animals who prefer the waters of spring. Phytoplankton are microscopic marine algae that contain chlorophyll and turn carbon dioxide and nutrients into the food that almost every aquatic being needs, making them the base for several food webs. This is done through a process called upwelling, where surface waters are pushed offshore by wind and replaced by cold, nutrient-rich water. On land or sea, these springtime transformations remind us that Earth's systems are deeply connected, and we cannot have one without the other.
They say calm seas never made skilled sailors, and this year, the Atlantic might be putting that to the test. Colorado State University has just released its first outlook for the 2025 hurricane season, and it's shaping up to be an active one. The forecast calls for 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes, all of which are above the long-term average. Sea surface temperatures across the central and eastern Atlantic are running above average for this time of year, creating favorable conditions for storm development. Add in the possibility of neutral or La Nina conditions later this summer, and the atmosphere could become even more supportive of hurricane formation. Still, one thing remains true every season: preparation saves lives. Communities have become more resilient and more informed with each passing year. No matter how busy the forecast may look, we are always stronger when we face the season together.
Well, we had a good start to this week, but as we move into the weekend, it seems like rain is the name of the game. So let's hop into our Friday surface map. So just to the west of Michigan, we do have this low pressure system situated, bringing this big swath of rain over into the region of Pennsylvania. However, we do have to remember that Friday morning and Friday afternoon here in State College, the conditions will be quite clear, and these cloudy conditions, as well as this moderate to heavy rain at times, will not reach us until Friday night. So these stormy conditions will last in State College Friday evening after the nicer conditions earlier in the day. And when we do have that rain system move through overnight, it lasts into Saturday. Our low pressure system is propagating to the east. And here in State College, we do still have some rain showers lingering, except that this rain might be light rain other than moderate to heavy rain that we saw the day before. And we still do have to keep an ear out for some rumbles of thunder at time. But behind our low pressure system and our cold front, we will start to see mild conditions to our west, as well as some peaks of sun over some mostly cloudy skies. But as we move into Sunday, however, instead of our low pressure system, we have a high pressure system now taking over and dominating the region. And here in State College and most of Pennsylvania, we will start to see some very sunny skies, and all of the weekend will be quite warm with those warmer temperatures moving into the region as well. However, with the sunny skies, the warmer temperature, and our high pressure system, we will have some wind associated with that here in State College. So while we do have those nicer conditions Saturday, it may just be a little bit breezy, but that's okay because of those warmer temperatures. Now for Friday, for our high, we are sitting at about 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Again, we have to remember that Friday is starting to look pretty nice during the morning and the day, but that rain does start to move through Friday night into the region. Our temperature is going down just a bit, about 56 degrees with our rain arriving in these cloudy conditions. And into Saturday, our temperatures go down just a bit. Now we are sitting at 64 degrees. However, that rain does last into those overnight hours of Friday into Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. But once we get past Friday and Saturday with the rainy conditions, Saturday night that rain finally starts to clear out. However, our nighttime condition is quite low, 43 degrees, but those clouds do stick around after that rain. And Sunday, our high is sitting at 63 degrees with a lot of sunny conditions. So Sunday seems to be our day for the weekend. So we had a nice start to the week. And as we move through the week, we got to get past those rainy conditions Friday and Saturday. But into Sunday, it looks like we will have very nice conditions to get out and do those spring activities that we all love to do. Up next, we have a feature by Luke Snyder on glacier preservation.
The 1990s rapper Vanilla Ice once said, "Ice, ice, baby," but for many glaciers around the world, that ice may not be sticking around for long. UNESCO and the World Meteorological Organization have declared 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers Preservation. The initiative aims to raise awareness about the crucial role that glaciers and ice sheets play in Earth's climate. According to Climate Central, glaciers currently cover nearly 10% of the planet's surface and store approximately 70% of the world's fresh water. Their melting threatens not only water security and ecosystems, but also the cultural heritage of many indigenous communities who consider glaciers sacred spaces. In addition, glaciers serve as scientific archives, storing information about past climates through cylindrical drillings of ice called ice cores. Roughly 10 centimeters in diameter, ice cores go down hundreds, if not thousands, of meters into an ice sheet and store crucial information for helping scientists better understand Earth's history.
And in particular, you get snowfall, temperature at the site where you drill it, and you get what is blowing through the wind from elsewhere that might be related to how the climate is working and to how it's being changed. And then you get the composition of the atmosphere, and that's globally mixed.
However, these glaciers are rapidly disappearing. A 2022 UNESCO report discovered that more than 18,000 glaciers within their 50 World Heritage Sites have been retreating at an alarming rate for the past 25 years. The melt equates to roughly 58 billion tons of ice lost every year. That amount is equivalent to the total annual volume of water consumed in France and Spain combined. Glacial retreat also heightens the risk of hazards, including landslides, avalanches, and tsunamis. One of the biggest threats are glacial lake outburst floods, or GLOFs. GLOFs are sudden and extreme outbursts of meltwater from glacial lakes and endanger communities who are located downstream. These events can damage property and agriculture and lead to a significant loss of life. Today, more than 15 million people globally are highly vulnerable to the impacts of GLOFs, with India, Peru, Pakistan, and China facing the biggest risk. Some mountainous regions in the United States are also located in GLOF danger zones, particularly Washington and Alaska. Studies show that nearly one-third of these glaciers are projected to disappear entirely in the next 25 years. This is especially concerning for the billions of people who rely on glacial melt to provide drinking water. Also known as the water towers of the world, glaciers play a critical role in replenishing rivers and supporting ecosystems. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets store about 2/3 of all the fresh water on Earth, and temperature changes are playing a role in their total mass balance.
Have not raised temperatures enough to really remove Greenland or Antarctica. But if we keep cranking up the temperature, we can get to the point that some important pieces of Antarctica and a lot of Greenland could melt off.
However, not all hope is lost. Leaders and climate activists around the world have been gathering for years, working on the best ways to combat global warming. One of the most notable figures in climate change discussions is the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. This figure represents the maximum amount of warming the Earth should reach by the year 2100 in order to preserve the planet's climate and atmosphere. Established in the 2015 Paris Agreement, this threshold serves as a critical metric and marks a tipping point beyond which irreversible damage may occur. Fortunately, new climate technologies such as carbon capture are being developed, giving activists hope that we can stay within that crucial 1.5 degree threshold. Through collective efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and raise awareness, individuals can help slow glacier melt rates, putting glacier preservation at the top of the charts, just like vanilla ice. For Whether or Not, I'm student meteorologist Luke Snyder.
Well, we did have that good start to the week, and ironically, that might happen again next week. But first, let's get into our weekend recap. So Friday, our temperature sitting very nice at 75 degrees with those partly cloudy skies. The sun starting to peek out of that increasing cloud cover. And remember that Friday morning and afternoon here in State College, it is going to be quite clear, but we do have that low pressure system with those rain showers moving in Friday night into Saturday. Now Saturday morning and afternoon, those rain showers do linger. However, it will probably turn into light rain instead of that moderate and heavy rain we saw the night before. Our high temperature decreasing quite a bit down to 64 degrees and our nighttime temperature at 43. Now once we get through the rain of Friday and Saturday, on Sunday we will start to see the sun pop out. Our high temperature looking just about the same as Saturday at 63 degrees and our nighttime temperature at 40. Now, for next week, looking quite similar to this week, especially at the beginning of the week. Monday and Tuesday, those nicer conditions, a good start to the work week. So Monday, we do have mostly clear skies, a little bit of clouds. That sun peeking out of the clouds are average for this time of year, sitting at about 63 degrees with this green bar here. So Monday, we are well above that at about 70 degrees. And as we move into Tuesday, we will start to see a little bit of increasing cloud cover. But our temperature is a little bit higher than it actually is on Monday. But as we move into the second half of the week, Wednesday, those clouds really start to increase. We will see overcast skies and our temperatures drop just a little bit. Now Thursday and Friday, those are the days that our rain returns and our temperatures do drop quite a bit than what they were from the beginning of the week. Thursday, our temperature is sitting at about this average for this time of year, and Friday as well, just a little bit higher. So again, as we start the week very, very well, the next half of the week tends to see a little bit more dreary conditions, but we will get through it. Up next, we have our answer to our Weather Whiz Quiz question.
Well, our question was, what was the highest temperature ever recorded in the month of April here in State College? So if you picked 94 degrees, you would be correct. And Caitlyn, that occurred on April 19th of 1976.
Yeah, Filippo, and I mean, I don't think we will be seeing temperatures quite in the 90s. And then in this upcoming week, we have seen those above average temperatures last week, and we will see them again this coming week.
Looking forward to some of that summertime warmth, Caitlyn. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Tune in next week for another episode.